Well, it's starting to get cooler out where I live, and that means I get to pull from my brand new wall of shawls behind me to start wearing my shawls again, which is very exciting. I can't really wear them during the summer because it's just too flippin' hot and I don't have air conditioning in my office. And so I'm very excited that fall is here for shawls and fall beer and all that good stuff. But listen, I have a serious topic I want to address today, and it starts with this email that I got from a fan just the other day, and the timing of it was a little bit serendipitous because it directly overlapped with something that happened in my life around this exact same issue. So let me read you the email. Carlin, I am such a huge fan. You're my favorite political commentator by far, and I love your unique perspective. If you have the time, I was wondering if you could give me some advice. My mom is extremely deep into Trump Derangement Syndrome, and I'm very into politics, slightly more conservative. I've tried showing her some of Tim Pool's videos explaining why I don't support the Black Lives Matter organization, and when she makes comments about Trump, I can't help but say something back. But it always backfires, and she gets extremely angry and emotional when I try to talk about this stuff and just doesn't want to hear it and refuses to explain why she disagrees with what I'm saying. I admit I was coming on a bit strong and understand that I need to shut up about politics now in order to salvage our relationship. But it scared me when I'm with her and she talks about wanting Trump to rot in a grave and s like that. Just how far gone she is in general is really concerning. Do you have any advice on how to cope with such differences in values and beliefs between people you're close with? And listen, guys, I have gotten so many emails like this in the past several months. People who have family members with Trump Derangement Syndrome, friends with Trump Derangement Syndrome, whose marriages are falling apart due to it, whose kids won't let them see their grandkids because they voted for Trump. And I have to tell you, I don't have a great answer. I am just not the best person to ask about this because I've barely spoken to my parents and frankly most people in my family since all this started. You know, for me, this whole thing started. For those of you who are newer to me, I kind of got shoved into public view in this space when my article about being a Democrat that went to a Trump rally went viral on the internet. I really didn't expect it. I didn't plan for it. And then I just kept kind of talking about it. But when it went viral, I got invited to be on all these news shows, including like Fox News. And I was trying to get a hold of my own mother for days. And I called her, I texted her, I was trying to get a hold of her. She wouldn't return my call. She wouldn't return my text. I finally got a hold of her about an hour before I was supposed to go on Fox News to tell her, oh, I went to this Trump rally and I wrote an article about it and it's gone viral and all this stuff. And she says to me, Carlin, that's all great, but those are the enemy. And I said, did you even read the article that I sent you 2 damn days ago? And of course she hadn't. And you know, we talked after I was on Fox News and she seemed to be a little bit better, but she does not understand this. She really doesn't. And I have tried over and over and over again to try to get her to understand how much the Democratic Party has changed, and it's just a no-go. And I have to tell you, the same day that I got this email from this person, you know, I had actually texted my mother a couple days prior with something really exciting essentially around the Walkaway March on Washington in DC, which is on October 3rd. I'm going to be speaking at it. I'm really excited about it. There are other exciting things in the work around the March on Washington. And honestly, I would encourage you all to come to DC for October 3rd. It's going to be epic. And so I'm very excited about this. And I texted my mother letting her know because she lives a couple hours away from DC. She could conceivably come. And she didn't answer me, and I finally texted her back, and I was like, you know, normally when stuff like this happens to someone's kids, they're excited for them, or they're happy for them, or they get some sort of response. And the response I got back was, well, Carlin, I'm just never going to support this Trump stuff. I'm never going to do it. And this has been going on for months with my family, and I think that what I have tried to do is I've tried to show, like, it really just be empathetic to the situation in that I know that my mother is older, My mother does not follow the news like I do. My mother does not watch YouTube. My mother does not understand that the Democratic Party has shifted fundamentally from the place it was to where it is now. She believes what MSNBC tells her. She believes what CNN tells her. And it doesn't matter if her own daughter is telling her different or trying to get her to see. It simply doesn't matter. She's gone. And it's terribly upsetting to me. I wish I could have any sort of normal relationship with my parents. Trust me, my relationship with my parents has been normal for a while, but now especially not. And I think the advice I have is that, sometimes you have to decide which is more important, being true to yourself or placating other people. And where I've come down on this is that the freedom that I have found to speak my mind, to say what I think, is so important to me. It's so valuable to me because, one of the reasons I'm making all this content, I post so many videos, is I have so much to say. I have so much that I was holding back for years and years and years and years and years because I was afraid of what my friends would think. I was afraid of what my family would think. And now that I have this freedom, I want to be able to say exactly what's on my mind. And that to me is invaluable. And if my mother doesn't like it, then there's nothing I can do about that. I cannot control if my mother does not want to have a relationship with me because I'm speaking my mind. I'm not being rude. I'm not being racist. I'm not being sexist. I'm not being homophobic. I'm not being, I'm not saying anything that is extreme in any way. And so if my mother cares more about hanging on to her Trump Derangement Syndrome than she does about having a relationship with her kid, then that is her decision and I just can't do anything about it. And so I'm at the point where I've kind of wash my hands of this situation. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be combative. I'm not going to tell them where to go, even though God knows sometimes I really want to. I'm just going to say, you know what? We disagree and it is up to you. And but I'm not going to put any energy into this anymore. And I also think too, I had this debate, or not even, it wasn't even a debate. It wasn't a debate from my side. Maybe it was from her, with Shoe Head on my channel a week ago. And, I viewed it as a discussion. I approached it as a discussion where I was going to say what I thought and I was going to lay out my perspective. And if she agreed, fine. If she doesn't agree, that's fine too. Now she didn't really get this and spent the whole time trying to convince me that I was wrong, which is her prerogative, and that's fine. But I think where I'm at right now is I have come to a certain amount of peace with my perspective. I've come to peace with how I view the world, and I've really done as much as I can to detach what I think from what other people think. If my mother or my family think I'm a horrible person because I'm voting for Trump, fine. Fine. I can't change that. That is not my problem. That is their problem. My problem is focusing on saying what I want to say, being clear about what I want to say, being clear about the value I want to contribute to the world. And if I put too much emphasis on what my family thinks, then all that is going to do is inhibit me from living the life I want to live. And so I think this is my advice. Don't inhibit yourself based on how you think other people are going to perceive you. Your perspective has value. Your ideas have value. Your words have value. And every single time you let someone in your life make you feel as though you have to conform to what they want you to, all they are saying is that they don't value themselves enough. They are not secure in themselves and they need you to validate them. That's not your job. Your only job is to validate yourself. And if other people want to come play, fine. And if they don't, that's fine. Now, this is not the answer a lot of you want. And I know you want me to give you some magic cure about how to cure your relatives with Trump Derangement Syndrome. Well, guess what, folks? You can't. It's not your job to. You cannot force people to change that don't want to change themselves, and you're just going to drive yourself crazy if you try. So my perspective on this is that I think you should focus on yourself. I think you should say what makes you happy. I think you should do what makes you happy. And really think about that divorced from what anyone else thinks. Because guys, here's the thing. You can find other friends. I mean, you can't find other parents. God knows I've tried. You cannot find other parents. But you can find friends, and you can create a family of choice. And, you know, I'm very lucky in my life where I have people who I would have never thought that have taken on that role of father and that role of mother and even that role of brother that my family, my actual blood family, is refusing to take on. So I've created a family of choice. Now, is it ideal? No, it's not ideal. But if they are going to abandon you because of who you're voting for, well, do they really deserve your time? Do they deserve your attention? What have they contributed to the situation to earn it? I'm not saying to hate them. I'm not saying to be mean to them. I'm not saying to shout at them or get angry or any of those things, because you don't need to do that. You can still maintain some level of openness where if they do come around, you'll be there and you'll accept it. But in the meantime, you do not have to allow them to affect you. So I think that that's my biggest advice. Try to detach from the situation. Try to have empathy. Try to understand that most people who have Trump Derangement Syndrome it's because the media has lied to them and they've believed it. And should they? No, but I get it. I understand it. And there were times when I believed the media too. And all you can do is create space for them to wake up someday and to welcome them into the fold if that happens. But in the meantime, you should not suppress what you think or what you feel or what you want to say or what you want to do for anyone. Your words have value. Your ideas have value. And don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. All right, I know it's not perfect advice, but that's what I've got for this video. If you have questions you'd like me to answer, hey guys, send me an email. I'm not great about responding to every email I get because you guys send me a lot of email. But I think that this is interesting, and I like kind of taking these questions. I want to actually set up a way for you guys to like call in and leave like a voicemail with questions or things like that, and I can answer them. I think that that's kind of a neat idea that I would like to play with a little bit. So if you have questions, reach out to me and go to drcarlin.com. The information is in the description, and send me a question, and if I have an answer for it, I will answer. I will always protect your identity. I will not reveal it, obviously, as I did here. I'll take out any identifying information, but I would love to hear from you. drcarlin.com/contact, or if you just go to drcarlin.com, there's a big old contact button you can hit. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel, giving it a thumbs up, turning on notifications, things like that really helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, that's all I have for now. I'll see you soon.